fantastic show for you tonight. We got so many cool comedians from in town, out of town, all the way around town. So we're gonna go ahead and give it up for our first comedian of the night, Sakaris!
How we doing?
Woo!
Thanks for coming out to Comedic Therapy, and this is a lot cheaper than actual therapy, so we appreciate your support. I'll tell you a little bit about myself. The world will soon celebrate Cerebral Palsy Awareness Day, and I have cerebral palsy, so I'm very aware of it. It's a brain disorder that affects the muscles. It affects my hand gestures, like I can't tell someone peace without looking all alien-like. And I can't flip someone off that looks like I'm going to stab them. It affected me socially too, like you probably had a cool nickname on the playground, like Big Bad Tony or Knuckles. Mine was Helmet Boy. It affects my posture at times, but I'm no slouch. But some of you are with me on that one. And on the plus side, having cerebral palsy means that I never get offended when someone says, "Hey, what are you getting all bent out of shape for?" I'm like, oh, no reason, I was just born that way. I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't do drugs, but this one time, my friends made me take a shot of an unholy concoction known as Rumplements, and it was disgusting. It tasted like Altoids and fascism. And someone told me one time, he was like, "Dude, you should smoke weed." And he followed it up with, "It would cure your cerebral palsy." The joke almost writes itself because there is no cure. And I've never done drugs, so the only tripping I do is over my own feet. Alright? A couple people were with me on that one. That's fine, that's fine. You ever get reminders from the universe of where you're at in life, whether you want to or not? Like I was in the frozen pizza aisle recently. I picked one out and said right on the box, and I'm not making this up, "I'm single." And I just looked right at it and I went, "Me too, pizza, me too." But I am single. That's about the response that deserves. And a lot of factors went into my last breakup, and one of them had to be my OCD. Because she'd be like, "Oh, when we finally do have sex, you're going to be amazing. It's going to be great. We're going to do it like 7 times. And I was like, "Ooh, that's an odd number." I love you to death. Think we just bump it up to 8? We did. It wasn't spectacular. I went to a community college, so I guess you could say I reached for the sky's limit. I went to Iowa Western. Our mascot was the Reavers, and it was a type of pirate that got drunk, partied, and caused trouble everywhere they went. And I was like, well, we're in college, so that makes a lot of sense. The college is in Council Bluffs, so that makes even more sense. And they sure do drink a lot of PBR. It's a stupid one, I'm glad you appreciate it. I have a lot of random thoughts, and maybe you guys can help me in figuring some of them out. If someone says you have no ass, is that just another way of saying you have a gaunt? All right. What is this, an audience or an oil painting? Hi-oh. I worked in offices for most of my life, and I still do some 12 years later after getting laid off from my last job. So I guess you could say I'm a real freak in the spreadsheets, pivot tables, and complicated formulas. Oh. Yeah, that punchline needs a little work. This will tell you how good that associate's degree is working out for me. I started walking for my new job about 10 months ago, and I passed by this dispensary on 72nd, and there were these beautiful girls in bandanas and flower dresses holding up signs for the place, twirling them around, and they never said anything, but I was like, you know what, I'm not going to go up and talk to them right away. I'm going to put out the vibe, work on my mojo a little bit, you know what I'm saying? It took me about 6 months to figure out they were in fact mannequins. So, not real flush with my Mac game, if you know what I'm saying. They were all made of plastic, real plastic. Any wrestling fans in the house tonight? For this joke to work?
Hi.
I am a ring announcer for local professional wrestling, and the independent wrestling scene is a lot like local comedy. You do it because you love it, you do it because you're passionate about it, and you may not perform in front of big crowds or a lot of money, but you gotta do it. Like, I've had some weird experiences on these shows. I've been on shows where the concession stand was literally a woman handing out gum. I've been on shows where the booming sound system was a microphone held up to a boombox. And I've been on shows where someone forgot the ring bell, so I actually had to go ding, ding into the mic. And you know you're doing a show in a small town when the bar across the street from the venue has a one-legged, one-man band doing AC/DC covers. I'm a little disappointed he wasn't called Thunderstump, but what are you going to do? And you know you're in a strange business when the other ring announcer says, "We don't have a flag, but please rise for the national anthem." And I was chatting with a technical support agent for something at work, and it was taking a really long time. So long, in fact, that the chat agent said, "Pete, you might want to grab coffee or a snack, because this might take a while." And I was like, oh no, they didn't suggest a Snickers. I think shit's about to get real. It was fine. And one of my favorite things to do, and a little postscript to that, with the pandemic we're trying to do whatever we can to amuse ourselves. My favorite thing is no matter what Chinese fortune you get, just add "in bed" to the end of it. Like hours of fun right there. I had one last time that said, "You'll be sought after for your diplomatic skills in bed." So that might make me say stuff like, "Hey girl, let's me and you turn out the lights, take off our clothes, get under the covers, and rectify these foreign trade agreements." But yeah, you should try it sometime. A barrel of laughs, that is. And I'm sure we all have naive parents, and I'm forever amused by how naive my mom can be. She tries to say things that are trendy, that are in with what people are saying these days. Like, she dropped me off at my place, and she turns to me and goes, "So what's on your bucket list for tonight?" And I just looked at her and I went, "Living through the night, Mom." But yeah, I have a naive parent. And I'm forever amused when someone makes a point online using the phrase, "but y'all not ready for that conversation." Which I find interesting because I'm not ready for any conversation, just as a baseline. And if you work in a call center, customer service, alright. I worked in a call center for 12 years and still managed to maintain my sanity. And I found out pretty quick that you know you've worked in a call center for way too long when a girl hugs you, the first thing out of your mouth is, "Thank you for holding me." It came in handy whenever I got into an argument, somebody would be yelling at me, cussing up a storm, and I'd be like, "I'm sorry, I didn't catch that. Please try again." And I thought nothing of it until I had a girl in bed with me, and that's not the joke. Now, Dubliner, let's not kid ourselves. I'm fully vaxxed, sharp as a tack, and tasty like a snack. But out of nowhere, I just panicked and went, "Before we continue, I must advise you that for quality purposes, this sex may be monitored or recorded." I'll end on this. As I mentioned, I'm a huge wrestling fan, and I realized that a lot of my favorite wrestlers could never be anything else but wrestlers. Like, you can't just picture them in everyday society. Like, what if Macho Man Randy Savage decided to hang up the tights and hang up the boots and become, I don't know, a marriage counselor? Like, imagine that interview. He'd be like, "Yeah, I've been thinking, you guys seem like wonderful, interesting people, and there appears to be some trust issues, yeah. And I gotta tell you that infidelity can drop an elbow in even the happiest of marriages, you know what I'm saying? You might think you're too hot to handle and too cold to hold, but I'm here to tell you that
If she is honest with you, and you are honest with her, you will be the ultimate victor for the 1, 2, 3, and all that will remain is the love. Oh yeah!
Taking no shit, giving no fucks. I'm Pete Sakaris. Thanks very much.
That was Pete Sakaris, everybody!